Remaining in the metaphor of the journey, we will need a compass and a meter. The first, to try to maintain a recognizable direction in order to arrive in port. The second, to succeed as much as possible to distinguish, to account for any of our steps, any of the conclusions, assumptions, and conjectures that we can formulate. Meter and compass, out of the metaphor, are made up of some premises which are posed, as all the premises, also as the rules of the game. As in some measure axioms, statement that cannot be deduced in the end, not very far from the articles of faith. Of course, each of the premises that I present can be argued, enriched, articulated in many directions. This cannot change the simple fact that they cannot be demonstrated, not in the usual sense of the logical mathematical demonstration. We don't have time here, nor space. We will have to settle for little more than just statements. First, we have only the human standpoint. For how much effort we can make, however daring our assumptions and conjectures may be, none of us can undo this limitation, change this condition. Second, for us humans, reality, whatever we mean by reality, is movement, action. In a very specific sense, it is life-saving action, at least tentatively, action aimed at protecting the survival of the species. Third, survival is the profound meaning and the aim of any human action. Fourth, every human being is a system, made up of systems. Here and for us, system means a relatively stable configuration of interrelated elements. Necessarily, each system interacts with its own specific environment, which in turn is constituted as a system. The distinctive property, fifth, of all life forms is autopoiesis, both in the sense of the ability to maintain its own unity and organization, and in the sense of maintaining its own unity and organization by using only its own codes, of elaborating and management of information about its interaction with the environment. Sixth, complexity is the natural characteristic of every aspect of our existence, being each element that we can identify indissolubly related to others by relationships affecting other relationships between other elements, and that mutually are affected by the change in other relationships between other elements. Seventh, for our purposes of research, observation, analysis, it is preferable to replace the recourse to the principle of direct causality by the recourse to the principle of strong correlation. What we will find in the course of our explorations must necessarily be the result of a method of investigation and research that respects completely and without possible exception the 7 premises described here briefly. We are looking here for better truths than we have been transmitted by those who preceded us, and for us it will be a better truth what helps simultaneously a better understanding of whatever element we decide to examine, and which allows us to identify a better way to deal with it. In this context, in coherence with the conditions set forth above, better means capable of obtaining with greater certainty predictable effects. In the end, this is the cipher of the true science: uniting conjectures, hypotheses, so as to formulate non-random predictions about what will happen, then fully confirmed by what will have happened.